On today's Glory Days show, the race for the Stanley Cup is down to the final two teams, as Pittsburgh and San Jose are the last two teams standing. Pete Torgerson will join us and bring us up to date about the finals.
And with a third of the baseball season already gone, we'll talk about the health issues surrounding the Mets and what they can do to compensate for the loss of much of their power.
And joining us in the studio to talk about his baseball camp and youth baseball programs is former professional baseball player Matt Giuliano, who runs the Play Like a Pro training facility out of Hop Hog right here on Long Island.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. The world says goodbye to Muhammad Ali.
Ooh, nice.
Did you miss us? We've got a lot of catching up to do. Don't touch that mouse. The best hour of your sports week is coming up on Glory Days right now.
Inravio.com.
Hello, everybody. Today is Saturday, June 4th, 2016, and you are watching the Glory Days show with Bruce and Disco. My name is Paul Discopani, and this is my good friend, Bruce Oler. Kyle Melnick, Matt, and Brittany are behind the glass today, and you are joining us on the Inravio TV network, where we stream live from Studio C right here in the great state of New York. Good morning.
Did you miss our last not doing a show the last couple of weeks?
I did, actually.
So did I.
You know, I did. I was at the Montauk Music Festival, which was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I was swimming.
Swimming? Really?
In Memorial Day. You know what I had Memorial Day?
What?
I had something called a pudding shot.
Oh, yeah, I saw you later that night. Do you remember?
No.
No, actually, that was the day before. I saw you Sunday.
The pudding shot.
Yeah.
Was interesting. It's kind of like the Jell-O shot,
Except
but
it's
it's got
pudding.
chocolate pudding, chocolate mousse.
Yeah, I
pudding.
remember you saying it was chocolate mousse.
So it was pretty good. But Muhammad Ali died
I
yesterday.
know, yeah. I just saw the announcement this morning.
You know, Muhammad Ali was probably the first athlete, and he was the self-proclaimed greatest of all time.
Yeah, like the Rolling Stones, the greatest
Right.
rock and roll band of all time.
And really, they coined the phrase GOAT, the G-O-A-T, the greatest of all times. And they always, but he transcended sports.
Yeah.
You know, I mean.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, he wasn't always Muhammad Ali.
No, he's
right?
right.
And he might have been the first one of those major athletes that changed his name.
Yeah.
You know?
Him and
I didn't
Lou
look that
Alcindor.
up. Well, Lou Alcindor did, but it was after him, after Muhammad Ali. And I believe he changed his name because of his religious beliefs, and I don't think he wanted to be drafted.
Right.
I think is what it was.
And that was one of the big things, was that he was a draft dodger, and he was suspended from boxing for 3.5 years.
Mm-hmm. And the legendary, of course, later in his career, fighting Joe Louis, not Joe Louis, what was the thriller in the middle? Was it Joe Louis?
Oh, no, Joe Frazier.
Joe Frazier, yeah. This is a
Three
sports
fights
show. I don't know anything
against-
about boxing.
I have to tell you, though, about boxing. Boxing is one of those sports that, kind of like car racing, okay? If you've never actually seen it live,
Yeah.
television doesn't do it justice. Kind of, I guess, a little like hockey. Hockey and TV just don't really go well together.
You don't think so?
No, because it's hard to follow the puck on TV, and there are things, it's just too fast of a game sometimes. But boxing, I went to a couple of boxing matches when we used to live in Queens.
Sure.
And it was brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, to see these, you've been involved in a fight.
Unfortunately, I've been in the losing end of most of them. I've won a few, but not many.
But you can't imagine the power and the what these guys are doing. They are actually beating
yeah,
the
no.
crap out of each
That's right.
other.
That's exactly
in
right.
front of you, and that doesn't come across well on the TV.
Yeah.
And it's a brutal sport.
See the guy gets hit, next thing you know, his mouthpiece goes flying out. I mean,
but
you don't want to be sitting in the first couple of rows there, man.
And in Muhammad Ali's time, they were doing 15 rounds. I heard an interview with Chuck Wepner this morning. Chuck Wepner was the Bayonne bleeder.
Exactly.
And he went 15 rounds with
With
Ali,
Muhammad?
He went 15 rounds with Ali. And he was talking about it, and he says, after 13 rounds, he says, I was done. He says, that means you're in the, with all the time between rounds and stuff. He says, I'm in the ring with him for an hour.
Yeah.
He says, I was just done. He says, I was amazed that I made it to 15 rounds. But we're trying to get a hold of, do we got any luck there? Any luck in the booth there? Oh, not
giving us, what finger was that?
I don't know, it was one finger.
All right.
I don't know if that means one more minute. Anyway, we're trying to get a hold of
somebody
my brother.
My
brother actually met Muhammad Ali.
Yeah?
He met Muhammad Ali,
Well, I'll tell you what I remember. I remember when the Olympics were held in Atlanta. Okay?
Yes.
And when they were, the whole ceremony about lighting the torch, and who was the guy that lit the torch?
It was him, remember?
That's right. He was standing there shaking, man. He was shot, unfortunately, man. It's, you talk about all these sports with concussions and things like that. Okay.
I didn't hear him at all.
All right.
Okay. Pulling Tony back up, right?
Where's Tony?
These are the things that go on behind the scenes here at the Glory Days show. They're running around in the booth. It's kind of fun. No. Anyway, but the thing about his Parkinson's disease is I'm not 100% sure that it's not related to boxing, but look at Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
Michael J. Fox has Parkinson's, and he was never in a boxing ring. So I'm not sure if it's related to boxing.
I don't. Well, I mean, but his head getting soft. I mean, you think about just concussions in general. I mean, what they're learning about the NFL with some of the some of the players that used to play. I mean, they take it a lot more seriously than they do than they did back then. But but it was as great as he was, man. It was tough to see him as a shell of a man.
Yeah, but he had that aura.
Yeah.
Okay. He had that aura about him. That that majestical thing. I mean.
And you said your brother met him?
Yeah, my brother met him. You know what? I think we've got him on the phone. We have him on the phone.
Hey guys,
All right,
how you
on our
doing?
phone right now is a human being who actually met Muhammad Ali. Right?
Tony.
Yeah, my brother Tony's on the phone.
everyone?
Tony, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How you guys doing? How you doing, Bruce?
Good, thanks. Good.
So
Good,
tell us.
good.
Tell us about how you actually ran into and met Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. It was a chance meeting. It actually ended. It was the day Brian Gumbel's last show was being taped. Actually, it was live, right? The Today Show.
Right.
And I was in the city picking up a passport. In those days, in 1999, you can actually get a passport on the same day, and you had to wait a few hours to get it processed. And that's right there, Rockefeller Center, and 30 Rock is where they filmed. So I was just going to get a cup of coffee, and there was this big crowd in front of NBC Studios, and I guess those were all the people at the Brian Gumbel show. And so I walked down this little side street, like 49. Actually, it was probably Rockefeller Plaza, but anyway, off of 49. And the street was completely empty, right? Because everyone's on the other side. And I'm walking in the street, and there was this guy in a tan pea coat, like a camel hair coat, standing on the curb.
All by himself.
All by himself. There was nobody else there. There was no cars. There was no handler. There was nobody there. And as I walked past, he was just a big guy. I mean, you just can't, they're not, like celebrities or, let's say, sports figures. They're like bigger than regular people, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not a big guy. So, I walked right past him, and I'm like, that looks like Muhammad Ali. So I turn around, And there he is standing up on the curb, and if you've ever been in the city, the curbs are like 8 inches tall. And I'm standing in the street, and he's standing in the curb, so he must have looked like he was about 8 feet tall to me.
He was a giant.
And, yeah. So I said, hey, how you doing, Mr. Ali? And he looked down at me, and very quietly, he said, how are you? And I said, great. I said, hey, I just wanted to say, thank you for the memories, and it was great to see you. And I put out my hand, and he put out his hand, and it was like shaking a catcher's mitt. I mean, it was like, it was huge. His hand was just huge, And he shook my hand, and he said, God bless you, and that's it. And I walked away, and then I saw his handler came out, and then a black limo pulled up, and that's when I met him. But he was, just beautifully dressed, and his skin was perfect. I mean, he was just hair trimmed. I mean, it was awesome. I mean, he was just huge. And it was just, really exciting. I felt like a little kid. I mean, not only I must have looked like a little kid, because I'm, 5'6", and I don't even know how tall he is, and he's standing on the curb, but it was awesome.
1999, though.
I think it was like November or something like. It was a little cool out, and
Well, he said he's wearing a pea coat, so I was going to guess it wasn't the summertime. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 1999. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Brian Cumberbatch.
Were you partying like it was 1999, Tony, or not?
Well, you know what? You say that, but Prince was actually on the show.
Really?
Yeah, Prince. Yeah, you guys should look it up. Prince was on the show that day.
Wow.
Yeah. So I guess.
Wow, so that's your blush with glory.
Yeah.
Brush.
Brush with glory.
Yeah.
Good story,
That
Toe.
was
Good
it.
story,
Hey,
man.
man, thanks.
All right.
All right. Well, listen, you guys do well, and let's go nuts. Another win last night.
Yeah.
And the guy looked pretty good.
Syndergaard always looks good, man.
Mets hit a lot of home runs
all
still.
right.
All the runs are by home runs, though.
If only they could figure out how to drive in a man from third with 2 outs.
Yep. Well,
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
Yeah, the other night, 13 walks. They couldn't figure out how to get around
How do you get
walks.
13 walks and 7 hits and only score 1 run?
I don't
Seems
know.
pretty,
Terry
pretty
Collins,
rare, something
I mean,
like
I
that.
like him, but, I don't know. You guys know more about that stuff than I do.
Actually,
I'm sure
we
you
don't.
can. My sister-in-law keeps cheering for the Mets because her neighbor's Terry Collins, and she loves him. But I'm like, hey, you better tell your guy to wake up.
Yep.
All righty,
Okay,
man.
Toe. Good talking to you, buddy.
All right, guys, enjoy. Have a good show. I'll
Yep.
talk to you
All
later.
right, that's my brother Tony. His brush with greatness.
And you did start out the show by talking about floating like a butterfly and singing
great-
like a bee,
great
which
thing.
which is one of his. But didn't he also say, "I can't wait for tomorrow because I get better looking every day"? Or was that somebody else?
No, he used to say all those.
Yeah, he
type
was
of
great.
things,
I mean, he
you know
was
what
the
I mean?
greatest, man.
And he knew he was the greatest, and he didn't really have to perpetuate. Remember, he learned how to. He wanted to do that rope-a-dope stuff. He did it because
the
he didn't
Thriller
want
in
to-
Manila.
Thriller in Manila, So hopefully later in the show we'll talk to somebody who was at the first one, the Garden.
Now Joe Frazier.
Joe Frazier.
Okay.
Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali.
Yep.
You know what? We're just getting started here. Right after the break, how about we change topics?
Hockey.
We get to talk to our good pal, Pete Torgerson. We'll get him on the hotline and talk about the Stanley Cup Finals. And we're still teasing it. Hopefully later on we'll bring in Matt Giuliano and we can talk more about baseball.
Sounds good.
Otherwise, this is only a half-hour show. Stay with us. You're watching the Glory Days Show with Bruce Disco, only on the Inravio TV network. Coming right back.
This is Joe Larson. You should check out the 505 on Racing Show live every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or catch us on video on demand anytime, 24/7, only on the Inravio TV network.
Hey, this is Chris Les Jake, and if Inravio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
Transmission of lice occurs from being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Like catching a cold or a flu.
You have guaranteed peace of mind in every bottle of Got Lice because all of our products are completely natural
and organic,
but strong enough to cover all your lice removal needs while being safe and effective. Our professional technicians are specially trained with our exclusive proven technique to successfully comb out head lice. We come right to your home at your convenience.
whenever you want us.
We bring everything needed to perform a successful and complete comb out while eliminating your head lice. And we leave you with our exclusive complimentary products to use for the next 10 days following our treatment.
For free.
Our technicians also check all family members who have been exposed to lice. Please visit us on our website today at gotlice.co or feel free to call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 646-257-0121.
For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered.
Welcome back to the Glory Day Show with Bruce and Disco here on the Inravio TV network. The hockey season that began back in October is coming to a close as both Pittsburgh and San Jose are the last two teams standing in the race for the Stanley Cup. On our hotline is a man who never runs out of enthusiasm for hockey and is as surprised as anyone about these two teams that are remaining. Please welcome back to our show, hockey maven, Pete Torgerson.
Hey, Pete, how are you?
Gentlemen, what's going on?
All right, man.
Hey, man, I know, I guess surprise is a little bit of a strong word but, you know, when these playoffs began, I don't think any of us would have thought that these would have been the two teams standing.
Well, I thought Pittsburgh was the hottest team in the league, and the last 2 months of the season, and they continued it right through into the playoffs. They're a team possessed.
Yeah, well, you didn't have to think that. I mean, that was the truth. You know, I mean, you know, there was all that controversy about the Islanders maybe, you know, throwing a game so that they wouldn't have to play Pittsburgh till later on. You know,
yeah.
And the Rangers got eliminated by them in the first round.
Right.
But they are a hot team, man. But that said, I mean, I don't think San Jose played a very good game one. I thought they played a better game two, and they only lost by a goal in both those games, and they were away. So. I wouldn't say, you know, start engraving the Stanley Cup for Pittsburgh yet. I mean, they're obviously in a good position.
No question. The series isn't over. It's going to go 6 or 7 games, I think. But I'll tell you what, though, watching the Penguins,
yeah,
even the Tampa series, all they do is get pucks on net, and their numbers are off the charts. They're out shooting teams by double.
Right.
They got some great rookies playing for them, man. You know,
those games. You know, I was looking at like the shots on goal of some of those games. Was 38 to 17,
yeah.
43 to 20. You know, the amount of, like you said, the amount of rubber that they're getting on net is unbelievable. And to your point, what you were saying about the series not being over, did you hear what the San Jose coach said? Peter DeBoer?
Yeah.
DeBoer, is that his name?
He was the Devils coach last year.
You know, they were talking about, you know, being down 0-2 and all that stuff, and he said Game 1 was decided in the last 2 minutes, and Game 2 was decided in overtime.
I did see that.
We'll hold off the funeral.
That's right. I did. And just before that, they asked him a question about the fact that Pittsburgh had more experience in the Stanley Cup Finals, and he goes, "Next question." That's what he said. Did you see that, Pete? Do you watch just the games, or do you watch the post game stuff too?
No, I'm hooked. I'm all in.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm preset to the NHL network.
You got a basketball Jones for hockey. Okay.
I was even watching the Pete. I don't know if you've been watching the Showtime series.
Yes.
It's been really good. It's like
yeah.
You know, like they had the special series like before the outdoor events. Well, they've been doing one for the finals. Actually, I think they've been doing it for the whole playoffs. But it's been really good.
One on last night at 9 o'clock.
Yeah. It's been really good. You know, they have the players' mic and the coaches' mic and stuff. It's good stuff.
So, Pete, Pittsburgh, Everybody complains about Sidney Crosby being a big baby. I think he's playing great right now. I don't think he's being very babyish. He's not whining about things. He's just taking it, sucking it up, and leading his team.
Just look at that face-off in overtime.
I know. Is that unbelievable or what?
You know, when that face-off happens, you got to get your stick down. He put his stick down. Just as the ref's hand started moving, he wound up and got it back, and he had told Dupuis, Letang.
Yeah.
He told Letang, hey, this is coming to you.
Yeah.
He went over
And he told Sheary where to be, man. You know.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, it's a set play. He's killing it.
Why would they complain, and Pete, since you're the referee?
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that.
Why were they complaining about what he did? Did he do something that was within the rules, or, you know, they were actually calling it almost cheating?
He flat out, yeah, in face-offs, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
That's true, too.
He killed that guy on that draw. I'm not even sure who it was. He just flat out won that. He got his stick down, and he was moving all in one motion. He timed it perfectly. And
that's the whole thing, right? Because I remember Crosby was saying afterwards, he says 24 out of 25 times it doesn't work.
Right. You know, and that's why I'm not too fond of San Jose for crying like that.
Right.
Well, Logan Couturier went up saying, you know, he said Crosby cheated on. He says, but we all cheat. You know.
Right.
How do you cheat with that? I mean, is that cheating?
No. You know, it's being a better player. It's just like going in the corner and winning a battle.
And you know, isn't it always? I mean, the home team they put their stick down second, right?
No.
No.
It goes by defensive zone, offensive zone.
Oh, is that what it is? I thought it was home. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're the offensive guy in the defensive zone, you could put your stick down second.
You test them here.
Right,
No.
the defensive zone player has to put his stick down first. They did that because they're trying to improve offense.
Right.
So, you see, when I just didn't understand what they were complaining about. Because I mean, one of the things they were talking about was how long he took to be ready in the face-off.
That's all nonsense. Because you know what?
Yes.
The linesman's there, and he's talking to them. Okay, guys, get them in, get them down. Once they're down, those linesmen are so good. Nobody's going to cheat on those guys. And you know, if the guy's making them look bad and you know, cheating on every face-off, you know what they'll do? They'll drop the puck over to the left-hand side or the right-hand side a little bit.
Right.
Well,
you know, I actually looked up the rule that they were complaining about.
Yeah.
Okay, now the NHL put in the rule because they're trying to speed up the game. And it's, I think it's something like 5 to 7 seconds you have to be ready to go, and then he's going to drop the puck whether you're ready or not.
What it is...
It does not apply to the last 2 minutes of the game or overtime.
Pete was going to clarify something. Pete.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, but it's the whole change sequence. When you change, the visiting team gets, I'm not sure what the exact number is in the NHL, but it's like 5 to 6 seconds. Then the ref puts his arm up, then the home team completes the change, then they have to get into the face-off circle. And in the NHL is a mess, you know, because between TV timeouts, the girls coming out to scrape the ice, there's so many variables in there. But when those linesmen are so good at controlling the pace of the game and getting that's something you don't even notice, you don't even look at. Watch the game tonight. Watch every face-off. I told you, remember Disco, we were at a game.
Yeah, you had great, you gave me referee 101. It was fantastic.
I remember you saying, and you were talking about, I think one of the linesmen got hit by the puck like 3 times. The puck is going to find him all night, is what you said, Pete.
It happens. Some nights you have Velcro on.
And you know what? I haven't watched the game since then without thinking of that conversation that we had. Yeah. And I tried to explain some of it to my son Kevin. I said, watch, he puts his hand up. You're a fascinating guy to go to a hockey game with, man.
So let's talk about San Jose for a minute. I think they have better beards, don't you? I mean, I think Joe Thornton's beard is just fantastic.
They had to have started those beards in January.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Tell you what, those beards gross me out.
Yeah, I don't like them too much either. You know there's got to be some food stuck in there someplace, man. Maybe even a person. You know?
And then, you know, Thornton is good. He makes passes like I've never seen. He's unbelievable, but I don't know. He's in my OV list of guys that I don't think will ever win. Just the way.
Number one pick for the Bruins back in 1997, and not just
wow.
number one pick for the Bruins. I think number one pick in the whole draft, right?
Number one overall, yeah.
Yeah.
So only 5 teams have ever come back in the Stanley Cup Final being down 0-2. Does San Jose do that? Does San Jose become number 6?
I don't see it happening.
You think they'll get back in the series, but you don't think they're going to win?
Yeah, you know what? It goes. Crosby and Malkin are playing out of their mind.
Yeah, they're men on a mission. And these rookies, how can you account for these rookies on Pittsburgh, man? Connor Sheary, the goalie, Matt Murray's a rookie. Ryan Rust.
Right, and he's on a roll.
Great players, man.
Are these guys going to crumble as it gets a little tighter? If it goes to 2-2, will they fold up the tent? I don't know. I think Sullivan's doing a great job as a coach.
Yep, he is.
He's intense. I don't know if you remember, like in the first round of the playoffs, the Penguins were all screaming and yelling on the bench.
Oh, yeah, I do.
And he literally got in front of the bench and he goes, "Shut the F up."
Yep.
To read it. So the inmates aren't running the prison there, and I think this guy came in December. They were in like 15th.
Yeah, they were terrible.
They were 12th or 13th place when he came in, and he put a new culture in there, and it works.
Okay, so do they have to win this game tonight?
No. They don't have to win tonight, but if they get a split here, they're going for a split. Fantasy world, yeah, you take 2 and you win it here, but I think they're going for a split. And guess what? San Jose is going to come out flying tonight. If I'm the coach of the Penguins, I'm going to say, hey, let's get through the first 5 minutes of this game, because it's going to be loud, crazy. Everybody, the Sharks going to be skating faster than they ever skated. Right. The defense has to hold. The defense has to make some stops. If Murray lets the first shot in the first 5 shots of the game, they're in trouble.
Right, so, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think this is going to be a blowout tonight. First of all, it's the first.
Want to make it interesting?
Yes. But first of all, it's the first Stanley Cup Final game that they've ever played at home. Mm-hmm. You know, I read something. I wrote it down here. 9,005 days since the franchise began. And they never played a Stanley Cup Final game. So that's got to count for something. And like you said, Pete, I think they're going to bombard them tonight, and I think it's going to be ugly by the time they get to the second period.
They got to come out of the first 5 minutes 0-0. If they do that, they're in great shape.
Interesting side note is that San Jose is in the Bay Area. And you got the Golden State Warriors also playing for the championship. And they talked about, just teams or years where there were 2 teams in the same area. They hardly ever win. The Bruins and the Red Sox, they had great teams, but they never won it the same year. You can say the same thing about a lot of franchises, a lot of cities.
Other than the Jets and the Mets. And the Knicks in 69.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All beating Baltimore.
How about North Carolina lacrosse this year, men and women?
What about them?
They both won the championships.
Hey,
we gotta be well-rounded sports guys here.
We were talking about the fact that the minor league team for both San Jose and Pittsburgh are playing in the minor league final.
I did not know that.
Are they?
Yes, they are. And I don't know who's winning that series.
We'll find out.
We should look that up.
Get the booth and check that out for us.
All righty, Pete.
Check out the linesman in that series, Ryan Daisy, up-and-comer.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, really?
He's one of my guys. Yep, 6'5". He'll be in the NHL, and not next year, the year after. He's doing the finals down there. So
very cool.
Cheer for the refs.
Hey, so with San Jose, I know what I wanted to ask you. I want to ask you about Muhammad Ali.
Yep.
I want to know
won't be down for breakfast.
You what?
He won't be down for breakfast.
No, he won't. Now, I know that you've met a lot of people. You've never met him, right?
I never. You know what? You want to hear a crazy story? There was a kid in our neighborhood. This is when we were, 14 to 18 years old. And this kid in our neighborhood, Kenny Scheifel, was the biggest Muhammad Ali fan of all time. And he was a huge boxer. And he had a Volkswagen. And he used to drive. Ali used to train in Pennsylvania, around Pittsburgh somewhere. And he would drive, and he would go to his training camps for like 5 days, just watch. And he actually had a picture of Ali on the back of his Volkswagen. And
really?
I'm sure this guy has more Ali memorabilia than any person ever, autographed everything. Because he knew him just from he was this little white kid, and he used to go to all of Ali's stuff. So,
But you never met him, though, Pete.
I never did. No, he wanted to fight me once, but I told him.
They were looking for a white champion to fight him, and instead they settled on Chuck Wepner.
Yeah, the Bayonne Bleeder.
The Bayonne Bleeder, yeah.
All right, Pete, always a pleasure to talk to you, my friend.
All right, guys.
Take care.
All right,
Hopefully
Pete,
we
that
can
is our good pal, Pete Torgerson. All right.
The hockey maven.
The hockey maven. And, it's almost sad that the hockey season's coming to an end.
Well, it was, once the Islanders lost, I mean, it's the greatest, I think, tournament out of them all. I really think so. So, but when your team is playing, it's always a little more exciting. Once your team is out, it's a little less exciting.
The excitement was gone, and I have to say, I watched a little bit of the first two games of the finals, and I just kind of lost interest in it a little bit, just because I just kept saying.
I do like that beard. I do like Thornton's beard, though, man. Is that unbelievable or what? Somebody was asking me, because I've had a beard, and they say, do you think it would grow that long? I said, I don't know. I always like to keep it trim. I always did. But the Sav, his was getting pretty long.
The Sav grows it like a terrorist. All right, so what do you think? Do you think San Jose wins this series?
No, I don't. I think Pittsburgh's going to win.
All right, I am going to be the difference there and go out on a limb and say, if San Jose
wins today,
I guess it doesn't make any sense, but if San Jose wins today,
they win
this series.
Really?
Yeah, because if they win today, they're going to win the next game. And then they're going to go to Pittsburgh 2-2, and it's a completely different series. Obviously, when you just...
Did you bring Sammy Stone with you?
I did bring him, but I forgot to.
Okay.
I would like to see what he had.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go grab him since we have a half hour. All right. But I think, when you look at it, they got to win 4 out of 5 games.
Yeah.
But listen, Pittsburgh's got to take that trip all the way out to San Jose.
Well, they both got to fly.
But do you know the way to San Jose?
Boop, 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 boop. Doing a stripper before,
All righty. We're going to take another break here on the Glory Days show. And when we get back, we may or may not have former professional baseball player and owner-operator of Play Like a Pro training facility right out here in Hopeg, Matt Giuliano.
Hopeg, Hopog.
Hopeg. Did I say Hopeg?
You did.
Is that how, well, it looks like Hopeg.
I think it's got a UE at the end there. Okay. Anyway, Matt Giuliano.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Confidence level is not high. Stay with us. You're watching the Glory Day Show, Bruce Disco, only on the Inravio TV network. We'll be back.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
This is Joe Larson. You should check out the 505 on Racing Show live every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or catch us on video on demand anytime, 24/7, only on the Inravio TV network.
Welcome back to the Glory Days Show with Bruce and Disco here on the Inravio TV network. If you're just joining us, well, where the hell have you been all morning? This handsome gentleman sitting between us played professional baseball with the Phillies, Blue Jays, and Brewers system, and has the dubious distinction of being the first player on the Long Island Ducks to hit a grand slam. Should we continue?
I don't think so.
Anyway, we were going to have a guest today, Matt Giuliano. Apparently he could not make it today, so that's it. Thank you very much, and good night. No, we still have a lot to talk about.
Well, you know, we went up to dedicating the whole first part of our show to Muhammad Ali, and we really didn't talk about the Mets.
And you know what?
We're going to hold off on that anyway?
Wait 4 more minutes
Four
before
more
we
minutes?
talk about the Mets. And we're going to get a man on the phone who is truly one of the greatest Met fans ever.
Okay.
Okay. The two other things I want to talk about that we don't, one other thing I want to talk about that we don't normally talk about here on this show.
Yeah.
The NBA Finals.
Oops. Okay.
Okay. LeBron James has been in 6 straight NBA Finals. Okay. How great of an accomplishment is that?
That's unbelievable. Now, how many times has he won?
They lost
Well, they
in
won
Miami, and then he won 2.
Yeah, okay. So he won 2 in Miami, that's it.
Right.
Out of the 6 in a row.
Then they lost again.
Yeah.
And then he came back to Cleveland. They got to the finals last year, and they lost again. Is this guy the greatest athlete of all time?
He may be. He may be.
You know, I mean, he is a tremendous basketball player. I mean, didn't he start the league like when he was 18 years old?
He was young.
And he didn't play college. He came straight out of high school. Right?
We'll have to look that up. I don't know. It's unverifiable. I'm sure it is verifiable.
But the Knicks have a new coach.
Yeah.
Jeff Hornacek.
And did you see what the Post did?
No.
Okay.
What did the Post do?
Here we go. Got a little picture here. And zoom in on this. See this? This is the coach's daughter. Okay.
That's the coach's daughter?
One reason to root for the Knicks is what it says, you know. Leave it to the Post.
So, you know what I don't understand about him? Okay. Didn't Phil Jackson say that he wanted to be loyal to Kurt Rambis?
Yeah.
And that he was going to only look for a guy who can
run
the triangle offense. This guy doesn't run the triangle offense.
Yep. You know, they say at this press conference yesterday that Phil Jackson was a real zero man. You know, say he was telling jokes and nobody was laughing. You know.
Oh, I don't know. So the Knicks have a new coach. Do you really? How on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you care about the NBA Finals?
About 3.
I'd say that's fairly.
That a lot higher than you?
I wouldn't say a lot higher than me, but I think that's in about the same.
Yeah.
You know what? I have to say I didn't follow. We didn't. If we talked for 10 minutes about the NBA this entire year, it was mostly about silly things.
Like?
You know, like whatever. We might have done a story about a player or something, but we didn't talk about, you know, how bad the Knicks were, how good the Knicks were. We might have talked about Porzingis.
I think one of my favorite stories of the last few years, I'm not sure we covered it though on the air, was when one of the players whispered in Carmelo Anthony's ear that his wife tasted like Cocoa Puffs or something. And he went and tried to get this guy in the bus on the way out, man, you know.
Oh, but yeah, I guess we spend an inordinate amount of time on hockey because we like hockey.
We love hockey. It's the coolest sport on earth.
It's the coolest sport. And
so I guess we're biased that
air
way.
conditioning.
But you know what? It is our show, right?
It is our show, and we can talk about whatever we want. So let's talk about the Mets.
Okay.
Because we like to talk
That's
about
right. You hardly ever talk about the Yankees either, man.
No, we like to talk about the Yankees only when we've got something negative to say about them.
Right. Like they're the worst team. I think they're in the last place in the East.
You know, I was kind of worried that they were going on a hot streak.
Yeah.
And they had
I don't think you have to worry about them too much, man.
No. And so
the Mets.
Let's talk about the Mets for a few minutes here. The Mets have a real problem. That's what I
They
think.
have some serious gaps to fill.
You know, coming into this year, obviously they are they're the defending
Champs.
National League champions.
Yeah.
You know, and I think they did okay to help their bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
I like Bastardo. I like Reed. I'm glad they got rid of O'Flaherty and some of the other dead wood that they trimmed. But I thought that, I mean, why were they, everybody knew, or at least you knew, I knew, David Wright was not going to last.
Right.
We did not address our infield situation. I mean, granted, we got a new second baseman, we got a new shortstop.
When you think about it, that whole infield right now is none of the guys that played last year that were on a championship team.
And you think about the two corner guys.
Yeah.
You got Duda, which I don't think we anticipated Duda getting injured.
Yeah.
We were worried about Duda being streaky or something along those lines. But we didn't anticipate Duda being injured and out of the lineup. Okay? You know, but we knew that Wright wasn't.
Yeah, and you know, and third base that's delicate because that's the captain. You know what I mean? But they really, like you say, I mean, I think good management always has a contingency plan, and we had no contingency plan for David Wright. And when you think about it, it was probably management's irresponsibility because it was quite likely, when you start looking at risk, and what the likelihood is, there was a pretty good likelihood that David Wright wasn't going to play this whole season. And he might be out for an extended amount of time, which he is right now.
You already said that he was only going to play 3 out of every 5 games or, something along those lines. But you never, you didn't, I mean, what did you think? You just thought Wilmer Flores was going to play third?
Yeah.
And that's a guy who was a natural shortstop, who you turned into a second baseman, who you put back.
I'm not sure he was a natural shortstop.
He was a natural second baseman.
Yeah.
You turned him into a shortstop, then you put him back at second base. Then earlier this year, when Duda was hurt, you're making him a first baseman.
Yeah.
I
mean, the option that I read about that I think it's worth exploring is moving Walker to third and bringing up Dilson Herrera and having him play second base.
Well, my concern with that is that, again, you're taking a position that you're very strong at, second base, and you're weakening it by putting him at third.
You think so?
I think so. You know what? There's a real fundamental difference between playing second and playing third.
Yeah.
Again, short and second are probably closer. I mean, obviously they're physically closer, but But I think that I just don't think you can go from second to third. I think that's more difficult. There's a lot of different things. The ball comes at you harder.
Yeah.
On our phone.
Yes.
Is a man who not only is the single greatest Met fan that I've ever met.
Okay.
Second only to myself. Okay. But during the heyday of Mike and the Mad Dog and the beginnings of WFAN, this man has made his voice known.
Made his voice heard.
He was affectionately called Jeff from Oceanside.
Jeff from Oceanside.
And he now is making, I think it's the first time he's ever been on our program here.
And he's helping us out in a
He's
pinch
helping us out
here.
here. Please welcome Jeff Bergstein. Jeff, how are you?
Hey, great, Paul. Great talking to you again. At least we had a win last night. I know we're going to get into some boxing, but that was a good win last night.
We're also talking about the Mets here. Let's talk, because right now we're talking about the Mets. Let's talk a little bit about the David Wright situation.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I was a big, you and I have been to some games together. You know I was a big Daniel Murphy fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they should have been thinking a little bit. They kept thinking second base. But remember, Murphy played quite a few games at third and first last year because Dudas had injury issues. And we all know about Wright. when you really think of what a bargain would have been to have Murphy for 3 years at $36 million, and to have him at first or third now, would have made that lineup look unbelievable right now. So I think Sandy, you and I had talked about it. For some reason, they didn't really want Murphy long term, but I think they were a little bit short-sighted knowing the injury situation of both Duda and Definitely Wright.
Well, that's what I was concerned about. And I mean, I really wasn't. I didn't anticipate the Duda injury, I have to say. I mean, I was worried more about him being very streaky. But
you had to really anticipate that Wright was going to break down at some
exactly,
point.
you had to, which was why I was very surprised that they just let Uribe walk.
Even Uribe at third now would be, I mean, you don't play him every day, but you have a veteran presence with, a little bit of a, extra base hit bat. But I know they got that. I know you probably. I wasn't listening earlier, but I know they have that kid in the minors that's batting .371 who's been tearing it up. So I guess they'll.
Isn't he in Double-A? T.J. Rivera, I think his name is.
Yeah, he's Triple-A, and he looked really good in spring training. And according to Ron Darling, Flores is going to be on a short leash, and this guy's tearing it up. He's been their best player in the minors this year, and he's in a perfect position, right, third base.
Is he? I didn't know he was in AAA. I thought he was in AA. Wow. Okay. So then, because I know that Flores obviously is not a long-term solution. I mean,
he's
maybe
not.
If he was hitting, although he got 2 hits last night, right?
He got 2 hits last night. He scored 2 runs. I mean, like they said, I think he'll probably be better playing every day. I don't think he's a good utility guy. I don't think.
I'm worried about him in the field, though. I don't think he's. He's a liability, I think, out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's switch.
I mean, we're concerned. I mean, you get to the 5th or 6th spot in the batting order. We're back to what you and I talked about last year. A lot of 1-run and 2-run games until they got Johnson and Uribe in the Cespedes deal last year. I mean, the lineup. I went last week to the Mets game. I mean, if they don't hit a home run, they don't score runs, and they don't bunt at all. They don't. Since they lost Pagan and Reyes, they have nobody to steal a base at all on the team. I think they must have the least stolen bases in the major leagues.
They do.
They have to.
They do.
Yeah.
So let's switch gears, though, and talk about your memory of Muhammad Ali.
You were actually there, right? You were actually at the fight at the Garden.
Yeah, that's a great story. So, I mean, I was a fanatic boxing fan. My father took me to the Garden from the time I was like 6, 7 years old, because my father did some boxing when he was younger. So I actually was a huge Joe Frazier fan. So I used to have, I used to have like Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali arguments with my good friends, just like we have Met Yankee arguments. And I went to probably 8 of Frazier's first fights at the Garden, and then I was in college, and the great 1971 Frazier-Ali fight came out. Well, backing up, in 1967, before we went on the 2.5-year hiatus, with the Vietnam deferment, his last fight at the Garden was against Zora Foley, who was a great pro veteran heavyweight. And I went to watch Muhammad Ali train, and they wouldn't let me in because I was only 16 years old. So this trainer, who was Emil Griffith's trainer, saw me outside. Remember when you were a kid. Sid Martin, his name was. He said, "What's the matter?" I said, "They won't let me in. I'm dying to see Muhammad Ali train." And he took me, and he went to the Garden. He goes, "He's with me." And I got in to see Ali train. I got his autograph on those big sport magazine photos. And, he autographed it. And so that was his fight before the hiatus. It was at the Garden. So I went to see him train for that. And then I was dying to get, I've been to all these Frazier fights. I got to go see him fight Ali. That was, they were both undefeated. Probably went down as the greatest fight ever at Madison Square Garden. And everything got sold out by the corporate buyouts. All corporate people were going, not true boxing fans. So it's a great story. I wrote a letter to Harry Markson, the promoter at the Garden, and I said, I've been to all of Joe Frazier's fights, and now he's fighting the great Muhammad Ali, and I can't get to the fight. I don't think it's fair. And coming home from college one day, and the phone rings, and I still remember her name, Marie Glasser. She goes, "Are you Jeff Bergstein?" I go, "Yes." And she goes, "I'm Harry Markson's personal secretary. I got your letter, and I have a kid home your age, and I feel bad. So send me a check, and I'll get you seats for the fight."
Nice. Wow.
And I took my brother, and it was $20 then. Upstairs.
$20, wow.
Money. we didn't have much money, so we got the cheapest seats. But got there, and then she gave me seats first row upstairs, center of the ring.
Nice.
And it was an incredible fight. Ali, if you remember, came back after the 2-year hiatus, and he beat Jerry Quarry.
Yep.
And then he beat Oscar Bonavena, and then he was, supposedly ready for Frazier. But styles make fights, and Frazier. The only slight weakness Ali ever had, he was the fastest fighter I've ever seen, the greatest boxer. He also could punch hard, as we know. Is he didn't fight that great on the inside, so I don't think he was ready yet for Frazier, only coming back with 2 fights. And then, as we know, he beat Frazier later on twice.
Right.
Right, but that was the first time he lost, right?
First time he lost. If you really think about it, 3 of his 5 losses was when he was, really like past 36, 37 years of age. He lost to Ken Norton when he was still, you could say, in his prime, and he lost to Frazier. Otherwise, and when you think of the fighters Muhammad Ali beat, Liston and Chavallo, the Bonavena, Jerry Quarry twice, Dora Foley, Bob Foster. I'm trying to do it from memory, guys. But you can't compare to some of the fighters they talk. Even when Tyson was fighting, he didn't fight fighters like Muhammad Ali fought. And Ali, and the fight he fought against George Foreman, when George Foreman looked unbeatable back then, was one of the greatest masterpieces ever. They called it the rope-a-dope, but he basically let Foreman just tire himself out for 8 rounds, and then he knocked him out. But he was, like I said, back then I knew boxing as well as anyone. There was nobody faster than him, smarter than him. Plus, he could punch. He would knock you out with, if you got hit with 200 punches around, eventually you're going to get knocked out.
Well, he was a heavyweight, but he wasn't really that heavy, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm not a big boxing fan, but I remember him, and I forgot what fight it was, but he had these yellow tassels on his shoes, and the way he was dancing, man, his feet would go one way, and his punches would go the other way, man. I said, boy, this guy is unbelievable.
Yeah, I think that was probably when he either fought Butler in England or maybe Floyd Patterson, because he fought Floyd Patterson also. Mm-hmm. He had a little bit of a mean streak when he was a great showman, as we know. But he toyed with Patterson, called him the Rabbit, and he toyed with Cleveland Williams, Ernie Terrell. So he basically, let's face it, he had a lot of confidence. And he was a controversial figure, as we know, but you can't take away the talent. He has to.
But Joe Frazier was more of the local hero, the blue collar guy. Is that what drew you to him? Is that what drew you to him?
Excuse me?
Is that what drew you to be a Joe Frazier fan?
Well, I think also because my father took me to a lot of his fights, because he fought more at the Garden than Ali did. Ali was from Kentucky, so Frazier's from Philly. So of course his first 10 fights, maybe 7 of them were at the Garden, when he was coming up. So you go to watch a guy fight, you know how that is, and then he become, he had a great style. It was exciting. I actually met Frazier also years later. But, those 2 guys, those were classics. You don't have fights like that anymore. You had the, like Leonard Hagler and Leonard Hearns and Frazier Ali. Look at the fights now. It's a joke compared to what these guys
Let's talk
did.
about that for a second. What do you think is wrong with boxing today?
Well, they diluted the sport. Think about it. It had 8 divisions when I was growing up. I can name the top 10 fighters in every division. Now you got junior welterweight, super middleweight. So within a matter of 12 pounds, you have 3 divisions, right?
Wow.
Then you really don't have. Every fight. If you put a fight on TV, they call it a championship fight. No, they'll give it a title. And then you got 3, 4, 5 title holders. Where in the past, you had maybe 2, but usually 1.
Right.
I think it just started. I think it's starting to lose its appeal. With some of the competition with the martial arts type stuff.
Right.
And I think it was just kind of the times, right? Like growing. It started with MC in the 20s, and the tough times. Just most of the people were blue collar. In New York City, you had Irish, Italian, Jewish fighters in the 20s and 30s. It was part of the culture of the melting pot, right? So people grew up fans of fights. I think it's very hard to become a fan of a fighter right now. Who really jumps out at you that you really want to root for? So I think it's just they diluted the sport. It became a little bit
I think the commissions are a little crooked.
Right.
I mean, I think, we've seen some of the things where, Don can't control fighters and even control the commission fees. And I think people just started losing, it lost its appeal because it lost its reality.
I think it also has to do with the, I don't know if it's the hype or the buildup of some of these fights and the extraordinary amount of money that they're charging for these pay-per-view fights, and they just stink.
Think about
like
$20 you paid for that.
Mayweather, Pacquiao, we spent
Right, that Mayweather-Pacquiao thing, which was unbelievably expensive as a, as a pay-per-view thing. And I think they've also ruined their, because of the pay-per-view, people don't see it as often anymore.
No, you're right. Well, the other thing I didn't bring up, I went to see the Thriller in Manila, which was when, Ali beat Frazier in one of the greatest fights ever, when they were both ready to quit after the 14th round. Actually, Ali told his trainer that he was not coming out for the 15th, but Frazier quit before Ali could say it. So I read
Little
that
poker
book.
player there, huh?
They were ready both. They took so much out of each other. They were both ready to quit. But what was the great events then is those were in the movie theaters, the closed circuit. I watched that fight in a movie theater. I don't remember which one, but I'd get all my buddies from college, and it would be a big event, right? You go in a movie theater to watch Muhammad Ali or Joe Frazier. But imagine you filled up a movie theater and it was on the big screen, which was kind of cool compared to just, and then you were spending, $20. Now, like you said, you could be spending $80 to watch Mayweather dance for 15 rounds and hardly throw a punch.
Yeah. Hey, did you?
That would be an event. Imagine sitting in a movie theater, ordering popcorn and waiting for the big fight to come on. There was something really special about that.
Did you see? Do you still have your ticket stub?
I have it somewhere. I know.
There we go.
I have the program and the ticket stub definitely somewhere.
Well, that's something you should take a picture of and put on your Facebook page today.
Yeah, I know.
There you go.
Yeah, he I woke up this morning. I saw he was in the hospital yesterday. It's kind of like, I'm trying to parallel, even though I was a Frazier fan, it's kind of like, hey, who doesn't think Michael Jordan or LeBron James, you want to watch when they play?
Yeah.
Even if you're not a Cleveland or a Chicago Bull fan, you're a Knick or a Net fan. The same thing. If you're a boxing fan, I mean, I was 12 years old in my grandmother's house. She was watching me, and I made her put on the Doug Jones-Ali fight. It was on replay. My brother went to that fight. That was his toughest fight up until then. He had been 17-0, and it was his first fight in Madison Square Garden. And Doug Jones, they said, gave him his toughest fight. When I watched it, I mean, he still won like 7 rounds to 3, but I guess to Ali, that was a close fight that the guy didn't get knocked out, and Ali didn't win every round. But it was like, when Ali fought, it was an event. Let's face it, the Frazier fights, the Foreman fights, even like this, but, at the beginning, what is he, a 50-1 underdog when he beat Sonny Liston the first time?
Yeah. That great iconic picture of him standing over him. Looking down at him. That's one of the greatest pictures.
To see all the tributes that come out from Muhammad Ali, I think, over the next few days, and all these great memories.
All righty,
the
Jeff.
greatest of all time.
Jeff, we're out of time here. Thanks for taking the time and sharing the stories with us.
All right, let's go Mets, guys.
There you go, man.
Right. Jeff, real quick, we win in this division?
Excuse me?
We win in this division?
If we make a few moves like we did last year, right? I mean, the pitcher's going to keep us in it. So it's just the amount. I think we need another bat. I mean, if you look at,
I think so too.
Washington's bats versus us. I think we need another bat. Or else I think we're going to get a wild card otherwise.
TJ Rivera.
All right.
All righty, Jeff, thanks.
Great talk to you. Thanks for calling in.
Hopefully I meet you one day, and Paul, we have to go to a game with Tony in the next few weeks.
All right.
Man, I'm in.
Okay. Thanks
very much,
for
Jeff.
having me on.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
That is Jeff Bergstein, and we are out of time.
Yeah, I guess we did a nice ad lib there.
That was pretty good.
Okay.
Thanks to our producers, Kyle Melnick, and who else is there today? Oh, Matt and Brittany today helping us out. That's pretty good. You guys make us look good out here. Thanks, Pete Torgerson, for joining us today and talking about the Stanley Cup playoffs.
And Jeff Bergstein, did you say him?
Jeff Bergstein, man.
Yep.
Thank you, Jeff. Oh, my brother Tony.
Yep.
For calling in.
Little Anthony, the Imperial one.
Little Muhammad Ali talk. Thanks again, Chuck and Bonnie, putting up with this nonsense week after week and allowing us to bring you this type of quality programming. And of course, thanks to you, our loyal viewers. Don't forget, you can check out Glory Days on the on-demand page on www.inravio.com. And you can watch any of our past shows or any of the other great shows on the Inravio TV network. Have a great weekend, everybody. Stay safe, and we will see you next time.